G'day YouTube, warbles on a lot here. It's a windy day in winter. And as the wind blows, the trees whose leaves have browned and died are all starting to get pretty bare and barren. Particularly on their upwind side. A sort of a leading edge effect of the airflow, I guess you could say. So what's going on? Here where the cracks in the rock dome are apparently slightly shallower and the trees can't get their roots into a reliable water supply. What's going on is that it's fairly raining. Cured bushfire fuel. As the tree runs out of water and its leaves dry off and brown out and the wind drops them on the ground, and that's actually why this tree has got a dead dry skeleton, where it has survived previous droughts and previous times when it's died off and regrown. See the leaves. Oh yeah, what fun. Kilometres an hour. And it's raining. Cured bushfire fuel. It really is quite remarkable. What's coming down? And this is out on the neighbour's sheep farm, and sadly this is one drought that does not stop at the boundary fence. Because leaves that fall off trees on the sheep farm are getting blown over here by the westerly wind, as if I didn't have enough dead dry leaves of my own to be going along with. And so, of course, one has been raking out like 3 days ago, I raked around here. So here beside the hut, this is 3 days worth of replacement leaf stock. Again, 3 days. And pretty much all that does, straight raking it up, is to transfer the location from having the fuel right up against the hut and the things that you can't afford to let any of this stuff burn, because once one bit of it burns, it lights up everything else. But yeah, a week ago I raked up under and around and over the stacked, racked, milled timber. And I got all of these leaves and pushed them out from here out to there. And if it wasn't for the depth of the leaves on the other side of the raked perimeter, you'd pretty much hardly know that I'd done anything at all. But my theory is that if I'm trying to defend the clearing, standing here with a hose facing a fire that's coming out from the east, I would prefer to have all of those leaves where they are, where I can easily hit them with a hose, rather than have the things underneath the aeroplane trailer, because that's where they came from. This clear area here was covered in them. And before this latest little bout of wind commenced, all of this here was actually raked clear, well out past the perimeter, dumped into what used to be a pit in the ground where the root ball of this tree was bulldozed from. So give you some idea of the size of the pile. That's already come out from around the hut and between the hut and the shed. Now, as you can see, I still have to clear the roof of the shed and the netting over where the vegetable garden experiment used to be, as well as re-rake the whole thing about 2-3 times a week. So just for the sheer curiosity value, and because I'm wearing my firefighting hat, how's about we go and have a little bit of a look at the forest fire danger meter, dating 1973, back before global warming really reared its ugly head. So you set your last rainfall as against the number of days since rain, read off the drought factor in the window, set the ROD against the derived drought factor, set the air temperature against the relative humidity, read off the fire danger index and danger classification on the outer rim opposite the wind speed, refer to the back of the meter for additional fire behaviour information. And you'll find that fuel quantity in tonnes per hectare is what matters when trying to figure out how much wind and how much temperature it's going to take before you have yourself a crown fire. Okay, so there's no point measuring the fuel burden here beside the hut because I'm going to have that as low as possible. No point measuring it out here on the edge of the perimeter where I've been raking the leaves to, because there'll be a big fuel burden here, but I can get at it with the hose and wet it down, ideally before the fire front arrives. But I thought that out here, in the area where I haven't raked it, between my place and the fence, that's where it might be a clever idea to measure the fuel burden and see what there is. So I roped off 1 square metre. Okay. Now the doctrine is you're supposed to take it back to bare mineral earth, which is kind of sort of difficult in this country because 3 feet of topsoil disappeared in the mass wasting in the 1870s, and what passes for earth is actually leaf matter and decomposing sticks and other organic material. And how far down into the dirt do you go? Because all of this will burn. So therefore, that's how much fuel has come off 1 square metre. Where we discover on our Salters number 6 pocket spring balance, we have 4 pounds in 1 bag. And with 2 bags, we have in fact 8 pounds of fuel per square metre at per each. And everybody knows that 8 pounds is 3.6288 kilograms. And because 1 kilogram on 1 hectare is 10 tonnes, below that because 1 kilogram on 1 square metre is 10 tonnes per hectare, so 3.688 kilograms on 1 hectare, 1 kilogram, that would have to work out to being 36.8 tonnes of fuel to the hectare. That's what I mean about global warming taking everything off the charts. This thing only goes up to 25 tonnes per hectare, and I'm at 36.8. So even though it's only 13 degrees air temperature under the trees, with the wind speed gusting to maybe 60 kilometres an hour, humidity at 24%, barometer steady, after making every possible correction that I can think of to allow for the temperature and the drought and the back-to-back drought, I get us with a fire index rating of 60 just here now today. And if you extend this trend down here to sort of where we would be at 36 tonnes to the hectare, I'd say 20 to 25 kilometres an hour, and that's where we would get a crown fire. So, shit oh dear. Well, what can one say? I'm sure you've heard of what they call gallows humour. So, my crown fire fuel bomb, it's bigger than yours. My crown fire fuel bomb, it's drier than yours. My crown fire fuel bomb, it's browner than yours. My crown fire fuel bomb, it's madder than yours. My crown fired fuel bomb, my crown fired fuel bomb, my crown fired fuel bomb is worse than yours. Brought to you by the fossil fuel burning broadacre harvest everything agro cult, which took 6 plastic bags of human sewage to the moon and broke the biosphere of planet Earth. In doing it, warbles on a lot to YouTube. Good luck. We're all going to need it. Regardless of technology, the computer says we're up shit creek. Ciao.